Hey everyone, welcome back to Wild About Trial's continuing coverage of the Aaron Hernandez murder trial. It is a cold, cold day in Fall River, Massachusetts, and court got started a little slowly this morning because of yet another snowstorm last night. But once testimony began, we really heard some interesting developments in the trial. This morning's testimony, while dry, was very important as two employees from Sprint took the witness stand to discuss cell phone records, especially cell tower pings from Ernest Wallace's cell phone. Wallace is Aaron Hernandez's associate, who is believed to have been with Wallace and Carlos Ortiz when they picked up Odin Lloyd from his house near Boston and drove him to the industrial park where he was murdered. Now, Wallace's cell phone received numerous calls from Aaron Hernandez the night of June 16th, and he could then track his cell phone using cell tower pings from Connecticut down to Massachusetts, with a final phone call to Odin Lloyd's phone at 2:32 a.m. from Wallace's phone, the last of 5 made that evening, which pinged to a cell phone tower just blocks from Lloyd's near Boston home. We also see phone calls made the following night, June 17th, numerous calls from both Hernandez and Cheyenne Jenkins, Hernandez's fiance, to Ernest Wallace. This is when prosecutors are alleging that Wallace is helping destroy evidence. Well, we also got a little treat this afternoon as Odin Lloyd's sister, Shaquilla Thibault, took the stand. She was the last one to have communication with her brother before he died. She was sitting out front of her house on the night of June 16th, hanging out with a friend and then getting into her boyfriend's car on the street. She saw her brother get into his black Suburban and drive away for about an hour in the early morning hours of June 17th, and then return, throw a Red Bull can out, and then get into a silver Nissan Altima that drove up with 3 men. Prosecutors allege this is Ortiz, Wallace, and Aaron Hernandez. He got into the rear back seat and drove off. Thibault testified that her phone had died while she was in the car. She went inside, plugged it in, and had received 2 messages from her brother. Now, while Thibault is not allowed to testify regarding the contents of these messages, we do know one of these specifically was one in which Hernandez is alleged to have texted her, "I'm with NFL." She was allowed to testify to the contents, but she did give a time frame that there were text messages sent from her brother's phone to her in the early parts between 3 and 3:30 a.m. Prosecutors are using this to show that Lloyd was in fact alive at this time. It was very emotional testimony as Thibault broke down at the end. And as a little bonus, a little overtime for us, once the jury was excused, we got another motion hearing. This time the defense had filed a motion to preclude the prosecution from actually showing a Glock 45 caliber weapon to jurors, the actual physical weapon. They were saying this is far too prejudicial just for an identification issue, and that if prosecutors are trying to show that this is in fact a gun that was seen in surveillance video that Hernandez is holding, that grainy footage is not nearly enough to show that having an actual firearm waved around the courtroom is going to be probative enough to outweigh that prejudicial value. Now, Judge Garsh disagreed with this, saying that she'll allow an actual Glock 45 to be shown, especially in regards to testimony from a prosecution expert from the actual Glock manufacturer. But she did limit that, saying that she will tell jurors this is not in any way the murder weapon, and also not allowing jurors to physically hold it, not allowing it back into the juror room for deliberations. But she will allow the expert to show them the physical gun. All in all, for a late start, it's been a pretty productive day. We're looking forward to testimony again tomorrow. Once again, 9 a.m. from Fall River, Massachusetts. I'm Ryan Kearns for Wild About Trial.